Now the Jets, Finley, able to clear one into the Chicago end. And the Jets ruled to be offside on the play.
I look for this to be a good game, Pat. Good ice conditions, nice and cold outside, good hockey weather. There's one guarantee in this city. Always have a white Christmas.
It's good hockey weather in July here oftentimes, isn't it?
It's hot here in July. But I feel sorry for these players. They have not any clue of what they're supposed to do with themselves other than, I guess you've got to rent or put the for sale sign up on the house because no one knows where they're going to be next year.
Now Jamnoff pulled down at center ice, and a penalty to Amani will send the Jets to a power play at the 45-second mark.
You cannot take those types of penalties against this team. They'll kill you. Their power play has struggled, but they have the potential of really filling the net. And Amante reached once, and then put the hook around the right arm, and Zamnoff went down in a hurry.
Jet power play with 13 goals so far this year, running at only 14%. And the Blackhawk penalty killing so far has allowed 15 goals against, killing off 85% of the power plays against him. Here's the draw now, and Jamnoff out it to center ice. Korolev, and off to a great start for Winnipeg, gets over the Hawk line. Igor Korolev threw it around the board. Now back of the net it goes. Dane Doan, a rookie, battling with Kelios there. It's squirts loose to Chance, and Jeff Chance cleared it back into the Jet zone. Sutter chasing against Newman in there. That ball, Newman gets to it first and gave it to Jamnoff. Very skilled Alexei Jamnoff with a pass between teammates. It slides the length and races on. Kelios got there for the icing call.
Very rare miscue by Jamnoff, one of the best stick-handlers I've ever seen. Missed the pass and it went the length of the ice. Kelios, good angle that time. Instead of cutting across in front, went behind the other way and just got there ahead of the youngster Doan.
Jamnoff, as you mentioned, Dale, really one of the guys that a lot of people probably are not that familiar with. He does not seem to get a lot of recognition, but when he's healthy, and he's had a cranky back, this guy has great lateral movement, great hands, as you say, and he's a thrilling player to watch.
Well, he only had 65 points last year in 48 games.
He's missed some time this year, but Jamnoff has still put up good numbers when he's been able to play, with 8 points in 8 games, including 5 goals for Winnipeg this season. Now it's dumped into the Hawk zone. Shannon put it in behind the Chicago net. Kelios stole it, then lost the handle. Bounces around to the corner. Kachuk kicked it loose to Solani. Solani at the near dot, moves in. Shoot! Belfour going to be rebound. They score. Kachuk took the rebound away from Ed Belfour, and a wide open side to tuck in a backhander. And indeed, the Jet power play comes through, and it's 1-0 Winnipeg.
Well, it looked like it was going to be a harmless play. Kelios had it behind the net. Had thoughts of maybe quickly going up the middle. Hesitated a little bit. They were allowed to keep it in. Kachuk pinned him up against the board. Solani picked it up, shot through a screen. Belfour made the save. Kachuk was allowed to go to the front of the net. And he just kept going and got the rebound and drifted away on the backhand and tucked it past the sprawled Ed Belfour, who had no chance. And it's not what you want. A power play goal, a minute 49 into the game.
9 goals and 14 appearances in the Jet lineup for Pete Kachuk. Solani gets the only assist at 1:49. Here's the draw now. Turcotte into the Hawk zone. Darren Turcotte tied up by Ulanov. Now into the corner it goes. Doan got knocked down by Ulanov, and the ex-Winnipeg Jet, Igor Ulanov, cleared it up the far side, not out. Back behind the net it goes. Miller couldn't find the handle. Dug loose by Doan. A shot to hit the side of the net. Now Chris King tried to center and winds up back in the near corner, and Keith Carney got it loose to Kip Miller, and he failed to clear it. Now Shannon on the near side. Put it in behind the Hawk net. Darren Turcotte takes a look from there. Turcotte centered one. King, a shot is blocked. Deflecting into the near corner. Chris King gets to it. Now center one, a shot. Belfour the save, and he holds on. And the Jets off to a flying start in this one.
different combination here. First time we've seen this look. Miller gets his first game action, and he's between Morrow and Daze. Three strangers all as a unit, and that's it for them after the Jets come off the power play goal and almost get another one. Finally, Ed Belfour makes a save, but prior to that, the rookie Doan, looking for his first goal, just hit the side of the net.
One of the hockey-playing Millers from East Lansing, Michigan. Kip Miller with two brothers in the NHL. They all three played for the Spartans at Michigan State. Miller, the Hobie Baker Award winner, is the best collegiate in the land a couple of years ago. Here's the draw. Eastwood back of the Hawk net, tried to muscle in front. He was stopped, but the puck came loose. A shot did save by Belfour on the Eastwood backhander, and the puck cleared back to center ice. Dave Manson gave it to Darren Quinn. He bounced one to the Hawk line, taken there by Weinrich. Eric Weinrich feeding Dennis Savard. He gets the line, chipped it into the near corner. Brent Sutter. Sutter tied up by Eastwood behind the net. Now his puck came loose to Savard on the far side. Got help from Grieve. Brent Grieve was surrounded in the deep slot though, and back come the Jets as Ed Ronan dumped it in. Winnipeg heading for a wholesale change as Steve Smith rolled it out to center. Murphy up right wing, gets over the line. Murphy to the deep slot. Had it tripped away by Newman nicely. And Murphy chasing back to his own line. Now gave it to Roenick. Jeremy Roenick into the Winnipeg zone. Stops in the deep slot. Had it stripped away by Stellani, but he couldn't clear it. And now Probert on the near side. Lost a handle to Newman. He sends it past everybody back into the Chicago zone. And Suter is back to Murphy on the near board. Murphy's pass picked off at center, and Shannon cleared it into the Hawk zone. Solani chasing to the near corner, colliding with Chelios there. And Kachuk dug it out, got away from Roenick, walked to the net, and the puck sticked away by Belfour. And the Hawks able to clear it to center ice. Now Chelios took a hit, but cleared it to Probert. For Chance over the line. He couldn't get away from a check. And it's corralled by Amani at center. Fires one in. Riva Krasov to the far corner. Unable to pick it up. Jamnoff does. Oh, and he nearly coughed it up, but the Jets, Darren Shannon, able to clear it. It slides the length and icing. Will be called against Winnipeg. It's early in the game. The Jets have a power play goal for a 1-0 lead on the Hawk Network.
You're saying you don't think the mummy was stolen?
Flying. They've had 5 shots at Ed Belfour. The Hawks have yet to get one at Happy Boulin.
Now the draw, the Jet zone in front to Chance. His backhander was well wide. Now Chance into the far corner for it. Leaves it for Amani against Jamnoff. Tony Amani got away from the check, centered it. Krivo couldn't pull the trigger. Back of the net it goes. Jammed loose to Chance, and he fell down as he attempted to shoot it. And now the Jets' Dave Manson able to sweep it back to center ice. Alexei Jamnoff got away from Kriva Krasov, who broke his stick, and as the Jets moved in, Dallas Drake was ahead of the play for the offside call.
Well, first applied pressure of the evening for the Blackhawks, coming off a face-off win. Chance, Amante, and Krivo Krasov, a unit that we haven't seen cycling in the far corner. We're unable to get a quality chance. Right off the draw, though, Jeff Chance had a backhand shot that he yanked wide of the net. Got a lot on it, but Winnipeg was able to clear and then carry it up ice and force this offside and face off just in front of the bench of the Blackhawks with 5 minutes gone in the period.
Dennis Savard out there now between Brent Sutter and Brent Grieve. Here's the draw. Controlled by Savard. Savard carries it over the Jet line, weaves to the top of the ring and shoots it, deflected up over top of the goal. Savard chasing it down to the far side. Now takes a look for Carney with a one-timer, and he ripped it wide to the near post. And then Sutter's tackled, and a penalty going to be called here against the Jets. Malgunas.
Malgunas for holding on Sutter as he tried to spin away. But a good play from Dennis Savard. His shot deflected up over the net. He picked it up in the far corner. Made a nice little soft pass to Carney, and his bullet went wide. And as the shot missed the net, Sutter was taken down by Malgunas. And the Hawks chance to tie it up now with their first power play. Their last 5 power play goals coming in 15 chances. So the power play has turned things on. 5:54 the time of the infraction.
And here's Kip Miller getting a chance. His first game of this regular season for the Hawks. Miller out there with Murphy and Roenick. Up in front, here's the draw, and Keith Kachuk comes away with it. Kachuk racing up the right side, gets over the Hawk line to Turcotte, moving it for Kachuk, and he just was unable to redirect it on a nice attempted give and go. Now Chris Chelios moved it to Murphy, who gains the line, had to throw it into the corner. Murphy poked it loose there. Roenick and Murphy are together in the corner. The puck cleared along the boards, and it's picked off by Turcotte, who sends it the length of the ice. Harry Suter works his way to center ice, enters it in. Chris King kicks it loose to Numanen, and he clears it back the other way.
23 goals against Winnipeg and 103 times short. Hawks still looking for their first shot on goal.
And there's a minute remaining on this power play opportunity for Chicago as Chelios sends it in. On the near point, Chelios able to pick it up. His pass picked off. Good read by Kachuk, who steals. He's got a breakaway. Short-handed. Keith Kachuk in alone. Shoot. Belfour. Rebound. Belfour stopped him twice. And Belfour thwarting Keith Kachuk. Short-handed breakaway. And he got a rebound hack as well. And the Eagle coming up big for the Hawks.
That was a 2-on-0 break. I don't know if Kachuk realized it, but he had Shannon with him. Could have made a drop pass to him, but tried to shoot low to the glove side. Belfour kicked it away. The pass, a soft one to Suter, who was standing still. Kachuk with a good read. He and Shannon 2-on-0. And then the rebound just eluded Shannon as Belfour makes a terrific save on Kachuk, who was bidding for his second goal of the game. A short-handed goal. He tried to go through the 5-hole. And Belfour gave it to him and took it away.
Half a minute left on the Chicago power play. It's 1-0 Winnipeg with 12.5 remaining in the opening period. Here comes Savard, gaining the line, had to throw it into the corner. Jeff Finley back, sends it up the boards, and Weinrich kicked at it but was unable to keep it in. Now Eric Daze lost the handle to Eastwood. He cleared it to Ronan. Had Ronan with a long slap shot going wide. And it's picked up by Steve Smith deep in his own end. Meanwhile, the Jet penalty is over, and both teams are at full strength now. It's dumped into the Winnipeg zone. Finley had it knocked away by Daze. Eric Daze on the far side. Finley got to him, and it's knocked loose. And out comes Ronan, getting into the Hawk zone for Jamnoff. His shot hit Weinrich and deflects to Daze. Holding up the near side, and Chance got it to Steve Smith over the line. Smith backhand pass for Chance, was at his feet. He couldn't corral it. Now back to Smith at the line. A long centering attempt picked off by Manson. Lines up in the far corner. And Jamnoff came up with it for Winnipeg. Now Darren Quint works his way over the Hawk line. Tees up a drive and a save by Belfour. Chelios the rebound. Looking to clear, and he did get it back to center ice. Now it's taken by Korolev, who flipped it in there. Brent Sutter back. Left it for Chelios. And Chris Chelios sends Gary Suter to center ice. Put it to Chance over the line. Chance far side. Stops along the board. Side of that to Sutter. Turns in behind. Put it in front. Oh, and Suter was behind his check. But the pass never reached him. Now Chance centered one. And it's deflected away from Kriva Krasov. As Jamnoff made a nice defensive play, and it sailed into the crowd. Halfway through the first, 1-0 Jets on the Blackhawk Network.
On the next school year,
Winnipeg, Ed Belfour has been very busy. 8 shots on goal and just stopped Kachuk on a breakaway. It's 1-0 Winnipeg. They scored on a power play. They gave the Blackhawks credit for a shot. I don't know where. Abby Boulin played a puck that was just trickling, would have gone wide by at least a foot, but that's a gift shot. So by rights, it should be 8-0. A couple of chances for the Hawks have been wide. Carney with a blast.
Kachuk, great feed. Solani is in. Solani a breakaway. He scores. He moves Solani. Pulled it to the backhand and stuffed it in. What a pass by Keith Kachuk to Brigham. And it's 2-0 Jets.
I told you about their capabilities of countering from defense to offense. Their forwards are terrific, and Kachuk looked like he got away from Roenick. Puck bounced away. Roenick let him go, and bang! A quick pass right on the money. Threw Ulanoff right onto Solani. Faked the shot. Froze Belfour momentarily, and then tucked it in on the backhand. Had that left leg up in the air, faked the shot, and then pulled it to the backhand and tucked it in. And it's 2-0 Winnipeg.
So Solani from Kachuk at 9:26. And the Jets with a very deserved 2-0 lead. Here's the play to center ice as Steve Smith's pass is deflected. Robert chasing it down. And now a penalty's going to be called as Probert and Kachuk collided. And it looks like Probert may have retaliated. And he's going to be sent off.
Not a great start. Down 2-0, and now another power play for the Jets. Robert saw him coming, got the stick and elbow up into the face of Kachuk. That's the right call, a high sticking call on Probert, who has not taken very many bad penalties this year. So Winnipeg here with a chance to add to their 2-goal lead. Timo Solani, 7 goals. Worst thing Solani ever did was score 76 goals in his rookie year. I always told you, you score 20, they expect 30. You score 76, they expect 80. Just keep it around 10, 9, 10 every year, and that's all they expect.
Well, now the Blackhawks in a very important situation, trailing by 2 goals already. Now here's a Roenick steal. He tried to set up Amani, but Jamnoff again made a good defensive play. And it's dumped back into the Hawk zone. Chelios chopped it loose to Roenick. Clearing. Alexei Jamnoff. Now cleared it to center and Newmanen. Throws it in deep. Brent Sutter poked it loose. Chelios with plenty of time. Now clears it out to center, and Sutter sends it down the rest of the way. And the Jet Jamnoff works his way to the Hawk line. Cleared it to the near side. And Chelios broke up the play, looking to counter. Chelios up the right wing boards, gets into the Jet zone, tees it up, fires. Abby Boulin stopped the rebound. Roenick. The puck was bouncing, and he flipped it up high. In behind the net, Sutter tried to center one. The pass is blocked. Sutter in behind the Jet net with help from Roenick. The wraparound and a save by Javi Boulin. Rebound to the Jets, Newmanen. And the Jets with a half a minute left on their power play as Solani gets to the Hawk line, stripped away by Amani. Racing back the other way. Gets into the Winnipeg zone, then peels off with it. Trying to waste some valuable time. Now the Hawks able to clear it. Just a few seconds remaining on the Chicago penalty. As Shannon steps over the Hawk line for Kachuk on the far board. He stops, takes a look to the deep slot. Manson returned it to Kachuk. The Hawk penalty over. Both teams are at full strength. Kachuk leaves it to the near point for Manson alongside the end. Deflect up high. Rebound just over the stick of Kachuk. He would have had an empty side had he been able to corral that loose puck. Probert the other way. Trying to move in there, cuts to the net, shooting, Javi Boulin with a point-blank save. Rebound in behind the Jet goal. Game loose to Grieve. Brent Grieve centered one. Now Probert at the near dot. Walks into the slot. And couldn't pull the trigger. Now Samar to the near side, looking for Probert. That didn't connect. Rolled Tackled loose into the corner. Now Savard walks in behind the net. Came back out in front for Weinrich. It's knocked away and winds up back at center ice. Weinrich stepping over the jet line. Dropped it for Grieve. Top of the ring. Shooting. Javi Bulin with a blocker and off the play a penalty. Coming up here. Looks like the Hawks will head to the power play. It's 2-0 Jets on the Hawk Network.
The broadcast rights to this game have been granted to Sports Channel. Any reproduction or other use of this game without the consent of Sports Channel or the Chicago Blackhawks is prohibited.
Some of the best memories I have of spending time with my father revolve around Blackhawks hockey. We would watch the games on TV, but what was really special were the games that began at 10 o'clock on the West Coast. Dad would send me to bed about 8 o'clock so I could get a couple hours of sleep, although I usually didn't sleep too much. Dad would wake me up at 10 o'clock. We'd go downstairs, just the two of us, while everybody else was sleeping. We'd watch the Blackhawks. He'd usually make hot chocolate, and he'd bust out the cookies, too. It's some of the best memories I have.
When it comes to automobiles, there's only one, Bob Rohrman.
Why is Schaumburg Honda Automobiles the Midwest's largest Honda dealer?
B.
Very best service.
O.
Only the best receive the Honda Master of Total Customer Satisfaction Award.
L.
Largest selection.
U.
Unbeatable prices.
M.
Magnificent service.
E.
Enthusiasm. Our service speaks volumes at Schaumburg Honda Automobiles, just 8 blocks west of Woodfield Mall on Goff Road.
A new season will begin on Sports Channel.
Keith Tkachuk. Goal and an assist and now a penalty, this one for slashing at 12:48, and a great opportunity for the Blackhawks to get back into this one, though the last couple of shifts have been more positive. Trailing 2-0, Winnipeg has scored a power play goal, and Solani was put in beautifully by Tkachuk on a breakaway. The Hawks have had one power play, did not score, did not get a shot on it. Now they get a second chance at it to get one by Javi Bulin and cut the lead.
Little ice repair taken care of in the goal crease of Nikolai Javi Bulin. And now he'll look at a face-off to his left as Miller, Murphy, and Roenick are back out there with Suter and Chelios to open up Chicago power play. Well, both centers, I think, are going to be tossed out of this draw, so Jeremy Roenick will come in against Mike Eastwood. And here's the draw. Now Gunas put it around the boards, and Darren Turcotte cleared it to center where Eastwood got it down the rest of the way. We welcome those of you joining us on regular Sports Channel as the Hawks are just underway on a power play here. They trail in this game 2-0. And Murphy now in the near corner for Chicago. Dropped it up the boards to Kip Miller, making his first appearance of the regular season for the Hawks. Chelios at the near point, looking for Miller. Kip Miller takes a look. Side of the net to Murphy, trying to stuff it in, and a save by Javi Bulin, who's been rarely tested to this point in the game. And the Jet netminder able to hang on. Dale, the Jets came out of the gates tonight just flying. They had a big edge in play in the early going, scoring a power play goal. Then that was scored by Tkachuk. Then Tkachuk made a great pass to Spring Solani for a breakaway goal. Belfour with not much of a chance on either one of them. And just lately, the Hawks starting to get back into it.
We also had a short-handed breakaway. Tkachuk had, there was a 2-on-0. He and Shannon broke loose in the short-handed situation. Belfour made the save to keep it 1-0. Then they scored right after that. The Hawks have had a few chances since then. At one time, it was 8-1, the shots favoring the Winnipeg Jets, and now the Hawks with their second power play. And if they're able to score here, they'll be in good shape if they can get through this period down only by a goal, because Winnipeg came roaring out of the gate.
Now the near side, Miller. Hit Miller. Side of the net to Murphy. Moved it to the line. Chelios goes across for Suter. He clears it around the boards. Murphy behind the net, lost the handle, and Newman clears it.
A soft pass around the boards that enabled the defenseman to pinch in and get good angle and able to clear the puck the length of the ice. You got to put something on it quickly.
Jeremy Roenick lost it at the Jet line as Drake took a run at him. They might have gone knee to knee. Roenick hobbled a bit as he drags the left leg as he moves to the Hawk bench. Meanwhile, Savard deep in his own end. With half a minute left on the Chicago power play. Savard scoops it ahead. Mike Eastwood got to it but failed to get it out. Chelios at the near point. Tees it up, then put it up the boards to Murphy. So Murphy, deep slot to Carney. He tipped it at Chelios, who shoots and a save. Rebound, Daze hit the post. Now rebound, Daze, and a save by Javi Bullen. Two glorious chances for the big Hawk rookie. He beat the netminder on one, but the goal post thwarted him.
Daze stood in front, getting a little bit of power play time at the end of it. Chelios shot directed by Daze, stopped by Javi Bullen. He got the rebound and hit the goal post. It came right back to him, turned and fired and hit the pad. That might have hit Dave Manson in the back of the leg and then hit Javi Bullen. And that slowed it up enough to allow Javi Bullen to recover and make the save. But the second attempt was off the post and the third attempt off Manson and then gloved by Javi Bullen. Still 10 seconds left with the power play, and a face-off win can result in a quality chance. Just have to be careful about the guy coming out of the penalty box, the dangerous Keith Tkachuk.
Face-off to the left of 22-year-old Nikolai Javi Bullen, and the draw is taken by Grieve, who tried to center. Javi Bullen steals it, and he'll cover it up. Well, not much doubt, Dale, that early in this game, Keith Tkachuk, the great young star of this Winnipeg team, is showing everybody why the Hawks made such a big contract offer to him. He's just been a huge force already tonight.
Took the captaincy away from him because he held out.
You mean he didn't want to come to Winnipeg? Oh, the wonderful ambiance he would have been missing. Here's the draw in the Jet zone. Savard to the near corner, had it knocked away by Newman. And meanwhile, the Winnipeg penalty over, and both teams are at full strength. Daze tried to feed Savard back to Daze. Quick shot and a save by Javi Bullen, and he hangs on. We have 5 minutes remaining in the opening period. It's 2-0 Winnipeg on the Hawk Network.
Buying a long-lasting automobile is more than making a long-term investment. At your Dodge dealer, it's a long-term relationship. So think hard and long before buying or leasing anywhere but Dodge. It's all here at your friendly Dodge dealer. In Dodge dealerships, the technicians have always had tools. Now, thanks to our Customer One training program, even the receptionists are getting a set. It's all here at your friendly Dodge dealer.
Ace Ventura is in Africa.
Alrighty then.
And Africa will never be the same. Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls.
Do I have something in my teeth?
Rated PG-13. Now playing at a theater near you.
The Maglite flashlight is a work of art that works. A Maglite flashlight is the brilliant gift idea for any occasion.
A new season has begun on Sports Channel.
Sunday, November 19th, all fans receive a team photo album courtesy of Coca-Cola.
Well, Terry Simpson behind the bench, taking over late last season. Got a very young team. Jason Doig is not in the lineup, but he's got Darren Quinn, who's been impressive tonight. Rushing defenseman Shane Doan, the winger, the big right winger that hasn't scored yet, but very nearly scored on his first shift tonight. Their average age, fourth youngest in the league, Winnipeg. 25.9. That golf ball's that old.
Face off to the right of Javi Bullen. Jeff Shantz between Amati and Kriva Krasov now for the Hawks. Here's the draw taken by Steve Smith with a long wrist shot. Javi Bullen never saw it, but it sailed wide. Near corner Amati trying to get away from Manson. He hits the deck instead, and Jamnov comes away with it. Put it to the far side. Drake gets over the Hawk line. Dallas Drake centered it. Jamnov barely unable to hold on to the feed. And Kriva Krasov now had a problem with Drake behind the net, and it's knocked away. Dallas Drake on the near side, wrestling with Kriva Krasov. Drake put it around the boards. Korolev. Igor Korolev and Steve Smith both hit the deck. Now Shamnoff stick handle beautifully to the dot. Put it to the near point. Manson a shot. Tipped right on. Belfour had it. Lost it. Trying to cover up. And now he does.
No, just poor play by Krivo Krasov in his own end, Pat. He had possession of it. Tried a cute maneuver behind the net. Lost it. And then the Hawks started running around. And Ed Belfour's first save in a long time. It was 8-1 shot advantage in favor of Winnipeg in the first half of the period, but since that time the Hawks have outshot them 10-1. And here's the first shot. Manson with a booming shot from the point threw a massive legs, and Belfour made the save. Had no idea where it was flat in his back. Finally the whistle blew, but the Hawks had possession and coughed it up.
Hawks will be back on home ice on Thursday night, the only regular season appearance of the year for the New York Rangers in the United Center, and some good seats still available for that one. 559-1212 for tickets for that game Thursday when the Rangers come in, and then Sunday night the San Jose Sharks will be in the UC. After that one, the Hawks are gone for a couple of weeks on the road. 4 minutes remaining here in the opening period. 2-0 in favor of the Jets. Took the Hawks to the second half of this period, Dale, to generate much of anything against the Jet goal.
I think Eric Dauzet's got at least 4 of the shots. He had them in 2 successive shifts.
Get Miller out there now for Chicago with Ethan Morrow and Brent Sutter. Darren Turcotte with Chris King and Shane Doan for Winnipeg. Now the draw. Jets clear it to center, and Keith Carney sends it ahead. Now Gunas bounces it back to the center ice area. Here's Miller into the Winnipeg zone. Kip Miller picks his way to the slot, shoots, and he had it deflect wide. Rebound to the corner. Morrow leaves it there for Sutter. And Brent Sutter unable to corral it. Instead, Darryl Shannon does. And the Jets clear it to center ice. And then they carry it over the Hawk line with Turcotte being offside on the play.
Turcotte tried to set a pick on Carney and don't sneak in behind. With good call by the official with 3:27 to go. First period of play that we've had any doubt or any defensive struggle between the two teams. Winnipeg dominated the first 10 minutes. The Blackhawks have had an edge here in the last 7. Turcotte just recently acquired for Nelson Emerson. Turcotte started his career with the Rangers. Traded to the Whalers, and now here at Winnipeg Jet. Call these the Winnipeg Generals, because they don't know where they're going to have their next home games after this year.
Now Weinrich dumping one in. Newmanen cleared it to the near side, and Shannon. Darren Shannon dumps it into the Hawk zone. And on the near side, Newmanen threw it to the side of that. Solani center. Newmanen well covered, knocked down. Murphy's going to get a penalty. And the Jets will head to the power play.
Well, Murphy hooks Newmanen down from behind as he pitched in from the defense position. Solani backhand passes through the middle of the ice. Murphy stayed with the check, the defenseman. The right winger's task in that particular situation is to stay with the left defenseman, who happened to be Newmanen. Newmanen moved in. Murphy stepped behind him and thought the pass was going to get to him, and he yanked him down. Not a bad penalty. But nevertheless, an important kill here. They don't want to trail 3-0 in the late stages of the first period. 17-12, the time of the Murphy penalty. Winnipeg's 1 for 2 with the man advantage.
They draw to Suter, who hammers it around the boards out to center. Now Quint deep in his own end. Darren Quint gave it to Keith Kachuk. He ran into Roenick, and then Amati stole it. He got knocked down at center ice, and Kachuk has it back. Carries it over the Chicago line. Kachuk trying to feather one to Solani. It hit a skate of Chelios, and Hawks able to clear it back the other way. Dave Manson starting Winnipeg ahead. Got it to Korolev, who stepped over the line, threw it to the far corner. Daryl Shannon rolled it around the boards. The near corner, Korolev, back to the net to Shannon. Cleared it back to the near side. Teemu Solani, pounded by Chelios. Now it squirts loose to the line. Manson along drive. That hit Chance and deflected wide. Rebound Shannon. Wrapped it to Manson. Far side to Quint, whose shot doesn't get through. In behind the net, it came loose to Korolev. Out to the line, Quint. Near point to Manson. Got it to the deep slot, and Quint, a shot is blocked by Chance. Sutter picked it up and clears it. Half a minute remaining on the Winnipeg power play. Now Manson's pass nearly picked off, but it does go to Doan. Shane Doan shooting it in. Tony Amati surrounded behind the Hawk net. Jammed free to the near side. Newman poked it back behind the goal. Drake wrestling forward there. Chopped away by Weinrich. Steve Smith now battling with Doan, and the Jets able to corral it. Korolev on the far board. Now the Hawks penalty's over. Both teams are at full strength as Murphy, fresh out of the box, picks it up at center. Trying to feed Roenick, and that didn't connect. Into the final minute of the opening period, the Jets cleared into the Hawk zone. Now Steve Smith cleared it to Grieve, who shot it to center, and the Jets put it right back into the Chicago zone. Down to 15 seconds left in the session as Grieve got to the Jet line, feeding Murphy, and three Jets surround him and knock it away. Cleared back into the Chicago zone. The race is on, and Steve Smith able to touch it for the icing call with 3.5 left in the period. Now Ronan and Belfour had some tangling going on after Smith and King had an angry exchange.
Smith gave King a bit of a shot after the whistle, went undetected by Dvorsky, and then Belfour got the glove up into Ronan, who was signed as a free agent. Ronan played with the Montreal Canadiens briefly the last couple of years. Now a chance for a face-off win and a quick shot with 3.5 seconds to go. Abby Bullen has stopped 11 shots. Belfour stopped 8 of 10.
Face off to the left of Nikolai Habibulin. Savard and Turcotte get ready. And the draw lays there. Grieve, a shot and a save by Habibulin. So the Hawks did generate a scoring opportunity, but Habibulin holds them off. And Winnipeg takes a 2-goal advantage into the first intermission. The first goal being scored by the Jets' Keith Kachuk, assisted by Teemu Solani at the 1:49 mark. That was a power play strike for Winnipeg. And then Solani sprung on a breakaway by a terrific feed from Kachuk. Solani scoring at 9:26 for a 2-0 Jet lead. Blackhawks with 12 shots on goal in the first period. The Jets with 10. So at the end of 20 minutes of play, it's Winnipeg 2 and Chicago nothing.
The guts, the Blackhawks. Cold steel on ice.
Start roaring out of the gate at 1:49 on the power play. Kachuk took the hit, got it to Solani. The shot through a maze of legs, and the rebound to Kachuk, who persevered from the corner after being hit by Chelios. His 9th goal of the year. That made it 1-0 at 1:49. Blackhawks on a power play. The pass across to Suter, a blind pass. Good read by Kachuk. A 2-on-0 break. A short-handed situation. It's 1-0 at the time. Belfour makes a terrific save on the ever-dangerous Keith Kachuk. That was one of the highlights of the period. But right off the draw in their own zone, Jeremy Roenick lets them go. Win or lose the draw, you got to eliminate the centerman. Kachuk finds Solani right on the money. Quick pass through Ulanov to fake and the backhander, and that made it 2-0 at 9:26. Solani and Kachuk, the key guys in this team, along with Zamnov. And so far in the first half of that period, Pat, it belonged to those guys in the Winnipeg Jets. The Hawks came on in the second half, but Javi Bulin shut the door, and the Hawks outshot them 11-1 in the last 10 minutes of play, but it was 8-1 for the Jets in the first 10 minutes.
And the Jets will take a 2-0 lead into the second period, which follows this timeout.
Mart has the low price on everything you're looking for, like our Brunswick.
7,000 probably, 7,200 in here, and a few Hawk fans. Disappointed in the start, but the Hawks came on a bit in the tail end of that first period. Did get some chances, but they'll need to do a better job for the remaining 40 minutes to get a point or two out of this one. 10 shots on goal for Winnipeg, Pat, and Solani and Kachuk had 6 of the 10.
Well, they are great stars. There is no doubt about it, and they had their way with the Blackhawks, particularly in the first half of that first period.
First pick in the '88 draft. He was the Rookie of the Year in '93 and had 76 goals and 132 points in his rookie year. And then he was injured the next year, hurt his knee, and only played 51 games and scored only 25 goals.
Now the draws. We start the second period. Cleared into the Winnipeg zone. And Darren Shannon shot it to center. Solani trying to bounce it ahead. It came to Kachuk, but offside is the call. Or I should say a high stick is what stops the play. Roenick, who has been pretty physical the last several Blackhawk games, starts the second period with a good jolt. Here's the draw now, taken by Weinrich deep in his own end. Gave it to Smith. Back to Weinrich to center. Looking for Roenick to the line. Great coverage there by Newman, and he broke up the rush and cleared back into the Hog zone.
Jets had everybody back there, and there was no room to go.
Bob Probert able to catch up with a puck along the boards. Ends up back in the Winnipeg zone. Dave Manson has it there. Manson banking it out to the center ice area. Now Dallas Drake on the right side. Gave it to Manson, who cranks a long slap shot. Belfour sticks it aside. Drake to the corner. Swings it around the boards. Taken by Amani. He had his pass elude Jeff Shantz. And the Jets dump it back in. Chelios to Suter. Goes up the middle to Shantz. He couldn't hold the pass, or he would have had Amani busting up the far side. Meanwhile, Zhamnov the other way in on Chelios. Goes wide. Chelios swept it away as Zhamnov was busting toward the net. Now the puck cleared back to center ice. And Darren Quinn shoots it into the Hog zone. Chris Chelios hoisting it back to the Jet line. Stuart Malgunas cleared it ahead, picked off by Green for Savard into the Jet zone. Savard center one. Carney moves up the slot, shoots at the goal post. Second time in the game, the Hawks have blasted one off the pipe. Daze did it in the first, and Carney does here early in the second. Now Savard had his pass picked off, and Chris King puts it deep into the Hog zone. Dane Doan to the near corner. Rolled it over to the far side. Chris King chasing after it. Colliding with Ulanoff along the board. King came away with it. Turns in the corner. Scooped it into the near corner, and Shannon holds it in for Winnipeg. Now Savard deep in his own end. A rough ride from King. They battle in the corner. It came loose to Doan, who fanned on a wrist shot. And Savard looking to break back for the Hawks. Gave it to Daze. And then his pass picked off. Good play by Shannon to get in the passing lane as the Hawks had an odd man rush. But here's Ronan the other way. Ed Ronan turning in behind the Hawks net. Down he goes. A penalty. Coming up against Ulanoff. And the Jets will head to the power play. It's early in the second period. Winnipeg with the 2-0 lead on the Blackhawks Network.
It's another big Saturday on Sports Channel. At 1, catch high school hysteria in a do-or-die.
Another important penalty kill. Ulanoff will get a penalty for hooking, but Keith Carney got up when the play was put in by Savard. Beat Javi Bulin cleanly, but bang, dead center off the post. Second post they've hit, but now with Ulanoff in the box, Winnipeg goes to the power play for the 4th time in the game. They're 1 for 3.
Now the draw, kick to the far point. Newman got away from Chance, tried to center, bouncing puck. Lines up in the corner, and Chelios clears it back the other way. Alexei Zhamnov sends it to Korolev to center. Left it for Zhamnov, who steps over the Hawk line. Dropped it to the deep slot, Newman. He put it to Korolev, who shoots, and that hits Chance. Coming to the near side, Zhamnov has it. Zhamnov put it to Newman, who lets it go, and a save by Belfour. Rebound, Drake behind the net. Poked it loose to Korolev. Out to the near point, Zhamnov. Zhamnov for Korolev along the board. He rolled it into the near corner. Chelios able to jam it loose, then gave it away. Newman put it to Zhamnov, top of the ring. He fires and shot it wide. Rebound, Newman cleared it up the far side. Korolev is there. Sweeps it into the corner. Now it's centering pass to Zhamnov. Right in there, shooting. Belfour made a sprawling save and managed to give no rebound.
Terrific save. Zhamnov one-on-one with him from the near point, walked right in all alone as the Hawks started running around. And Zhamnov, there was no one near him. He had a clear lane. And Ed Belfour makes a great save to keep it a 2-0 deficit. Belfour waited, and then didn't give many opportunities. Gave him the 5-hole, covered up, and then stacked the pads. 54 seconds left on the hooking call on Ulanoff.
Face off to the left of Belfour. And the draw. A diving Roenick able to clear it back into the Jet zone. Darren Quint leaves it behind the net, and Roenick gets there, center, and a shot, and a save by Javi Bulin on Amani. As Roenick and Amani create some havoc in the Jet zone, but they're held off. And now Manson. Gave it to Quint deep in his own zone with one more rush on this Winnipeg power play. Darren Quint shooting it in. Eric Weinrich. Cleared it to the near side. Quint keeps it in there. Flips it into the near corner. Now Shannon gets help from Kachuk, who rolled up the near side. Savard got there to steal it. Now banked it ahead, but hit the linesman. And went to Quint, clearing it into the Hawk zone. Solani got away from Weinrich. Right in there, shoots, and a save by Belfour. Rebound Shannon, in behind to Solani. Solani the wraparound, and a save by Belfour, and a penalty coming up here. Just as a Hawk infraction expires, now another one will be called. This on Grieve, it appears.
It's going to be a cross-checking penalty. They can't take penalties against this team. He's just asking for trouble. I think it's a Jet player that's going to get it. Grieve wasn't sure. He thought he was going to go to the box, but I think Kachuk is going to be sent off. So that's good news. It looked like it was going to be a real bad penalty, but they go the other way, and they call it on Kachuk, and the Hawks kill it off. So there were a few dangerous moments. Solani turned Weinrich inside out and had a quality chance, and right after that, Kachuk must have cross-checked either Weinrich or Smith, I'm not sure. Oh, he gave it to Savard right in front of the net, with Solani in behind the net. 5:14 the time of this penalty. On power play has been very good. They are now 5 for their last 17, including the 2 misses in the first period. But this is an ideal situation for them to get the first goal of the game, to cut the lead to 2-1 and build off of that and go on from there.
Now the referee, Dvorsky, has gone over to the Jet bench to give an explanation, it appeared, to Coach Terry Simpson. Now Kachuk is coming out of the box. And Jim McKenzie's going in.
Kachuk must have a problem of some sort, because he's gone to the locker room for some repairs of some sort.
The Blackhawks do have a power play opportunity now with Savard, Daze, and Tony Amani. They open up out in front of Suter and Kelios. Savard made a backhand pass that King nearly stole. Now Suter able to get to it. Give it to Savard. Now the Hawks shoot it in. Daze to the far corner, lets it go to Amani, who bangs it back around the boards. Newman on the near side. Couldn't get it past Suter, but Newman then gets it back, and this time cleared. 6 minutes gone by in the second period. 2-0 in favor of the Jets. Blackhawks have 1:10 left on a power play as Roenick gets into the Winnipeg zone. Roenick leads it to the near point for Suter. Up the board to Roenick. A quick shot and a save by Javi Bulin, and he holds it.
We want to thank our major corporate sponsor, Chrysler Canada, the official car and truck of the Winnipeg Jets.
Jeremy Roenick trying to surprise Javi Bulin by triggering one from the corner. The Jet netminder's been very, very sharp so far in this game. Javi Bulin's had just one decision in his career against the Hawks, and that was a loss. Face off to his right. Here's the draw. On the near side, Eastwood picks it up with plenty of time and clears it. Kent Miller wearing number 14 for the Hawks. Cleared it to center. Gary Suter shooting it in there. All the way around to the far point. Kelios keeps it in with a long shot, deflecting wide. Picked up by Drake on the near board. Alice Drake banks it ahead, taken by Eastwood over the line. Turns to the near corner, then Kelios took it away. Got it to Murphy. One more power play rush here for the Hawks. As Murphy got to the line, was stopped there by Malgunas, and offside is the result.
That was a rather quick whistle. I don't think that puck ever crossed the line. Murphy trying to feather it in, hit the leg of the defenseman, and power play going nowhere. Not even a good shot at Javi Bulin. They've had one shot. 10 points in 10 games. The last 10 games for Joe Murphy. Equal number of goals and assists, with 23 goals last year. Murphy off to a bit of a slow start the first couple of weeks because missing all the training camp as far as game action and the first 2 games of the regular season.
Even though he has missed 3 games for the Hawks so far this year, he still leads the team coming into the action with 56 shots on goal. But only 5 have gone in for him to this point. Here's the draw, cleared back into the Hawk zone. And out to center comes Kriva Krasov. Gave it to Omani. Couldn't get away from Manson, though, and Korolev deep in his own end. Has a problem with Shantz, who stole it. Centered one. Rebo was in too deep, though. Put it to the far point. Weinrich is there with a long shot. Tip, good save by Habibulin on a Shantz deflection. And now both teams are at full strength. As McKenzie gets over the Hawk line for Korolev, he centered one. Too hot to handle for Zhamnov. And Smith the other way for Chicago. Unable to get away from McKenzie at center ice. Now Korolev rolled it to Zhamnov over the line. He spins and then couldn't pull the trigger as the Hawks finally able to get to him. Now Krivokrasov got it to center, and Jeff Finley sends it right back in, but the Jets had not cleared, and the offside whistle blows. With 8 minutes gone by in the middle period, still Winnipeg 2, Chicago nothing on the Hawk Network.
So you're saying
about the skills of Alexei Zhamnov. Korolev gives it to Zhamnov. He's in traffic, spins around and passes it to himself with a Rudolph Nureyev out there.
Nothing Winnipeg. We approach the midpoint of the middle period, and the draw cleared into the Chicago zone. Chelios sends it up the board, not out. Shannon put it in behind the net. Now Shane Doan against Miller in the corner. Puck rolled loose behind that. Doan there centering. Chelios blocked the pass. Now it came to the near point. Daryl Shannon scooped it in behind the net. Taken by Miller, who tries the near side. Daryl Shannon able to keep it in. Now Miller picked it up, and the Hawks able to clear it back into the Winnipeg zone, but this will be an icing call against Chicago.
It's been a tough start for Miller in his first game as a Blackhawk. He and Morrow, and that time Brent Sutter finally able to clear the puck, but every time they've been on the ice, they've been pinned up in their own zone. Get the inside scoop on the Bulls in the NBA when former college and NBA coach Dick Versace joins Peter Brown Thursday at 4. Join Dick Versace with Peter Brown this Thursday and every Thursday at 4, only on Sports Radio 1000 WMVP, Chicago's new sports leader. L.B. Baker winner in 1990. A couple of Michigan Staters on the Blackhawks.
Now the draw, Turcotte centered, a shot and a save by Belfour on Solani. Rebound into the far corner. Darren Shannon picked it loose to Finley, long shot. Belfour sticks it aside. Now Darren Shannon picked it into the near corner. Solani centered, Shannon, a shot is deflected wide. And the Hawks Probert able to pick it up. And then it's cleared up over the glass and into the seats.
All that trouble because of the face-off. Hawks lost the draw, started running around, and Ed Belfour forced to make a great save on Solani. The Hawks not having a particularly great night. But yet they're still not a long way out of it, only down by 2. Solani just pulled in behind everyone, got the puck, and Belfour beat him to the punch with the blocker and stick flat on the ice.
Now the draw in the Chicago zone to Jeff Finley, clearing it into the near corner. Solani against Smith. Then dug loose by Shannon. Darren Shannon center one. Turcotte turns, couldn't pull the trigger. Weinrich wrapped him up beautifully. And now Murphy starts the Hawks back. Joe Murphy moved it to Jeremy Roenick, who got the line, put it to Murphy, and he threw it in behind the Winnipeg goal. Bob Probert jammed it loose, but it went right to Newman. Teppo Newman motors back to center ice. Sends it in there. Dennis Savard's on it. Savard works his way back to center.
5 Jets back. He had nowhere to go.
Forced to turn once, now ran into 3 Winnipeg players at the line. They had a great defensive stand there, and Drake trying to feed Zhamnov, but Chelios steals instead. And sends it up the board to Grieve, who bounced it to Savard. 2-on-1 with Murphy. Savard over the line, moves in for Murphy. The shot, he scores! Joe Murphy off a great feed from Dennis Savard. And the Blackhawks have cut the Jet lead in half at 2-1.
Good read by Savard to stay up high and behind everyone. The puck came to him. He had Murphy with him. He waited. He drew the defenseman over, then slipped it over at the last second, and Murphy just pumped it past Habibulin, who had no chance. Usually when you're on your forehand going the off wing, it's an easier shot. It's a tough pass to complete. And Savard, with great skill, stayed onside as he spun around, waited, faked, and then slipped it back behind him to Murphy and buries it. Big goal for the Blackhawks after struggling in their own zone the last 3 or 4 minutes. They counter nicely on an odd man break, and now 2-1 hockey game, anybody's game.
And Dale, let's not overlook a big contribution on that play, which was turned in by Brent Grieve. He made a determined effort to jam it loose out of his own end and then poke it ahead to Savard, and the Hawks were off to the races. Grieve picks up a well-deserved assist along with Savard on Joe Murphy's 6th of the year at 10:02. Now it's dumped into the Winnipeg zone. Malgunas ran into Grieve, then Daze stole it, but he was unable to stuff one in. Far corner Savard. Put it in behind Grieve. Center Daze. Great save by Javi Bulin. Oh, a quick one-timer for the big Hawk rookie, and Javi Bulin with the left or the right pad made a magnificent stop. Now it's center ice. It bounces around. Doan slipped it in. Eastwood colliding with Ulanov. Shot over to the far side, and it's held in there by Newman, and it moves in. Fires hit the crossbar. Newman blew it up over the top of Belfour's glove, but it hit the crossbar and came out. And the Hawks cleared it. It'll be icing now against Chicago.
That play resulted because of the extra work by Chris King in the corner. He took the body on Daze, kept it in. Newman snuck in and beat Belfour, but hit the crossbar. 2-1 in post in favor of the Hawks now. But at the other end, Eric Daze with a quick shot in the deep slot. Savard made a nice pass to him. At the other end, King with a good hit on Daze. Newman recovers nicely and off the crossbar.
Face off to the left of Ed Belfour. He said he didn't have to spring for all that many tickets tonight. Many family members living fairly close to Winnipeg, and they're always here to cheer on their favorite goaltender. He had to only come up with half a dozen ducats or so for this one. Meanwhile, here's Amani over the line, tried to center one. Here's Chance, a shot. He put it up high, and the rebound taken by Newman, who cleared it to the Hawk line. Chance back into the Jet zone. On the far side, walks to the dot. His shot didn't get through. Bouncing around to the far side, and Amani able to keep it in there. Amani for Chance. He tried a one-timer and mostly whiffed it. It dribbled toward the net, and Javi Bulin covered it up easily. We have 8.5 left in the second period. It's Winnipeg 2, Chicago 1 on the Hawk Network.
Relax. You wanna play like Jimmy, you best start practicing. Down for the call, see I know him well. Baddest brother, watch out to shoot the pill. You action Jackson.
Weather advisory, there is a winter storm watch in effect for the entire area today. Seems like it's only going to get worse. And look, if you don't have to be out there, please get off the roads.
Fly Southwest, the low-fare airline at convenient Midway Airport, now offering ticketless travel. It's the easiest way to fly. Call 1-800-I-FLY-SWA.
Pat Foley and Dale Talon in Winnipeg. The Hawks trail the Jets 2-1, and here's Chelios off the draw, shooting. Javi Bulin gave a rebound. Sutter hacking at it, can't connect, and just as it squirts loose, the whistle sounds.
Come on since that goal. Daze had a quality chance, and then the next unit after that with Krivo, Krasov, Chance, and Amante had a couple of near misses, a few shots deflected. This off the face-off. Back to the point. Chelios pump, got it through. Javi Bulin lost the puck momentarily, and then the rest of the Jet players sort of shoved it towards him. The puck was never frozen, but the official had lost sight. Just as it snuck loose to Kip Miller, he blew the whistle.
Face off to the left of the Winnipeg goal. Eastwood and Miller get ready. And the draw. Loose behind the Jet net. Sutter determinedly banging forward in there. Now going to be a Jet penalty because of Sutter's effort. And here's Moreau in the near corner, tried to center, picked off, and the whistle sounds, and the Hawks will head to the power play.
Fourth of the night, second of this period. Brent Sutter just tackled from behind by Malgunas, who signed as a free agent after, well, he just clotheslined him and then tackled him the second time. Got away with the first one and then dove on top of him after that.
Again, remind you, the Hawks with a couple of more home games before they head on a long road trip. The Rangers are in for their only appearance of the regular season on Thursday night. And they are followed on Sunday night by the San Jose Sharks. 559-1212 for tickets to either or both of those games. And we'll be with you next on Sports Channel. On Sports Channel Plus when the Hawks begin a road trip Wednesday night at Colorado. 8 o'clock is face-off time for that one as the Hawks embark on a long road trip. Here comes Gary Suter, a long shot. It's blocked to Murphy, who got knocked down before he could shoot it. And the Jets come away with it as Manson. He tried to shoot it in and put it into his own bench.
Well, Thursday night, our one and only look at the New York Rangers at the United Center. Mark Messier, who just reached the milestone, 500 goals. Also named Player of the Week this week, had a brilliant week. And the Rangers have to pick up an option on his contract at the All-Star break. Interesting situation that the Rangers, I'm sure, will pick that option up for a big piece of change.
Or I was going to say, it's for big numbers, isn't it?
The timing of it is perfect, though. I think that's really smart on his. I think his father is his agent, and they're not going to let him go at the All-Star break and not sign him.
Face-off coming up at center ice with 8 minutes remaining in the second period. Just underway on a power play, and the draw cleared back of the Chicago net. Chris Chelios sends Roenick to center. Cleared it to Murphy, who steps over the line. Tried to get away from Newman, and not this time. And it's cleared back the other way. Chelios rolled it to center. Kip Miller shoots it in, but Roenick had to stop at the blue line to stay onside, so the Jets recover it, and Newman clears it.
No sense dumping it in. You get to the blue line, you might as well either peel back and keep it or just go with it.
Now Suter carries it in there. Weaves to the deep slot, then put it to Chelios, far board. Deep slot to Suter. Here's a long shot. Happy Bull in the save, and the rebound just over Miller's stick. Into the far corner it goes. And Joe Murphy picked it up there. Gave it to Miller, who mishandled it. And now it came right back to Miller. Get Miller on the far side. Dropped it to the line and just eludes Chelios to center. And there's half a minute left in the Hawk power play. As Suter puts Daze over the line, he cuts into the net, shooting, he scores! It might have been tipped in by Roenick, but Daze triggered a bullet shot low along the ice as Roenick was crashing toward the front of the net. And on the power play, the Hawks come through and have tied it up at 2.
Well, perfect timing. They had difficulty. They finally got it into the neutral zone, circled back. Suter put it across the front of the blue line, and Daze was coming on a player change. So he picked it up, took a look, snapped it. I should say, Javi Bullen was distracted a bit by Roenick. I don't think Roenick got it, but I think Daze tied it up on the power play. Daze, the first game this year, getting a little bit of power play time in the last 20, 30 seconds of each power play, and he's had some quality chances and finally gets one. 9th goal of the season for Daze.
So the Hawks answer the 2 first period goals from Winnipeg with a pair of their own here in the second frame. And now they're back even at a deuce as the draw is controlled by the Jets. Korolev got it to Drake, shooting it in. Weinrich bounced it to the far side, and Jeff Shantz left wing to Crebo over the line, returned it to Shantz. And now Korolev steals it. Korolev back into the Hog zone for Drake. Top of the ring to Korolev. Turned in behind the goal. Korolev trying to center one and deflects over to the far side. Held in by Manson with a long shot. Belfour saw it all the way and stopped it. Rebound corralled by Shantz. He failed to get it out. Hansen held it in. And now a steal made by Weinrich. And finally the Hawks send it back into the Winnipeg zone. And this will be icing against Chicago.
Suter and Chelios get the assist on Daze's 9th. Very easily could have 2 or 3 in this game, Daze. He's hit a goal post, and Chris Chelios now keeps his scoring streak alive. That's 2 goals, 9 assists in 9 straight games for Chris Chelios.
Chelios now is 16 points for the season, and this is the 18th appearance. Face off to the right of Ed Belfour. 5.5 left in the second. We're tied at 2. Here's the draw to Manson. A long wrist shot doesn't get through. And Chelios able to flip one out to center. Grieve has it there to Savard over the line. Savard feathered one to Grieve. He put it in front. And it's blocked by Javi Bullen before it got to Daze, who was ready to fire another one.
That almost deflected in. Grieve tried to get it across and hit the stick and changed angles. Savard just brilliant again tonight, making a nice soft pass to Grieve. Grieve's pass just hit the shaft of Manson's stick and almost snuck in past Javi Bullen. Keith Tkachuk got a cross-checking penalty at 5:14 of the second period. Went to the box, and then there was a discussion. McKenzie came over to serve his time. Tkachuk went off to the locker room and has not returned since. So obviously it's some sort of injury.
Well, that of course a major loss for this Winnipeg team. Whenever he is unavailable, he was a real force in the first period, and just as we say that, he has now returned to the Jet bench. Here's the draw in the Winnipeg zone. Murphy on the near board, walks to the slot with a backhander and a save. Rebound Murphy, and he got his feet taken from under him just as he was ready to trigger a backhander. And the Jets able to clear it to center. Hawks slip it back in there. Now the Jets Newman in. It is past deflected center ice, and then King got it over the line to Turcotte, cutting it water. Ethan Moreau on left wing, and he was poke-checked nicely by Darren Quint. And the Jets Korolev cleared it ahead, jammed off to the far corner. Wrapped up there by Chelios. Came around to the near side, and now Chicago's Moreau worked his way to the Winnipeg line. Tipped it in behind the Jet goal. Came back to Moreau on the far side, then took a crazy hop away from it. Out to center, Drake put it to Jamnoff over the line. He feathered one to Manson with a wrist shot. What a save by Belfour. Rebound taken by Smith. Steve Smith. Run it to the near side of Moreau. His pass deflects at the Winnipeg line. And Darren Shannon the other way. Cough it up under pressure from Smith. Now Krivokrasov into the Winnipeg zone to the near side. Trying to get away from a check. Was knocked down instead by Numanen. And Numanen coughs it up to Amani. Turns at the top of the ring. Amani got it to the near corner and Chance back to Amani. And Numanen has another good defensive play breaking up that feed. 3 minutes remaining in the second period. We're tied at 2. As Pete Tkachuk finally returns to the ice for Winnipeg. Lost the handle at center. And the Hawks, Krivokrasov shoots it in there. Jeff Finley. The bank one back to center ice. Chelios. There's it into the Winnipeg zone. Tkachuk tried to clear to hit Daze right in the head. It came back to Daze in the deep slot. He moves it forward. Javi Bullen the save. And the circle, turns in behind the wraparound. He didn't quite complete the move as Belfort crawled to the goal crease. Now the Jets, Aaron Shannon tied up by Grieve, and Joe Murphy got it to Grieve, who shoots it in there. Now Gunas put it to the near side. And Shane Doan got it to the neutral area. Murphy gets help from Roenick, getting into the Winnipeg zone. Roenick trying to split a couple of checks, now moves and shoots it. It's a rebound. Murphy! And a save by Javi Bullen, and a penalty coming up here against Winnipeg, I believe.
Joe Murphy tried to bulldog neck puck right into the net after Roenick slipped it through the stick and legs of one defenseman, was hooked, got the shot away. The rebound came to Murphy. Shannon spun him around. Murphy gets the rebound. Great job by Roenick of getting that shot away. Another power play as a result. This will be a hooking call. The Blackhawks will get their 5th power play with 1:40 remaining.
Winnipeg coming to number 24, Daryl Shannon, 2 minutes for hooking.
Daryl Shannon gets the hooking call.
The Jets, Daryl Shannon, 2 minutes for hooking, 18:20.
So the Hawks with an opportunity to finish off a very strong second period on a power play. At one time, we mentioned that the Hawks had been outshot in the game 8-1. Since then, the Hawks have had 25 shots, while the Jets have had 11.
This is a big opportunity. Score here, get the lead. Trailing 2-0 at the start of the period would be a great momentum booster for them. And Winnipeg would have to be talking to themselves negatively in the locker room.
Off to the left of Javi Bullen.
What a difference this team, a different look that Winnipeg has without Kachuk.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
Now the draw taken by Chelios at the far point. Scoops it up the boards. Miller, side of the net to Murphy. It's behind the goal, and now Suter to the near point. Over to the far side, and Miller. Side of the net, Murphy gave it back to Kip Miller. Miller along the far board with it. Trying to throw it through the box, and Roenick banged it out of midair toward the net, and Javi Bullen made the stop. As Roenick again showing the fine hand-eye coordination.
Not a lot of movement on the power play, Pat. They had 5 stationary guys, and then Miller tried to sneak one through the middle of the box with a diagonal pass. It was swatted out of midair by Manson, but then Roenick, out of nowhere on the back end, almost surprised Javi Bullen. You've seen Roenick do that time and time again. Bat pucks out of midair. Incredible hand-eye coordination.
75 seconds left in the second period. Face off to the right of the Jet net. And the draw taken by Manson. Put it to the far side. Dallas Drake tied up by Miller in the corner. And they'll hold it long enough to draw the whistle.
Minute 6 now remaining in the period. Minute 26 on the penalty. Joe Murphy, point streak now. 4 goals in his last 5 straight and an assist as well. Boy, was so close to getting another one on that last penalty to Shannon on the rebound. He had Javi Bullen at his mercy. He just couldn't put it over him on the back end.
Face-off will be to the left of Javi Bullen, and the draw control by Chelios. Far board to Miller. And Miller back to the line, and Chelios. Chelios walks to the deep slot, then scoop to the Miller, top of the ring. He fakes, put it to Murphy at the side of the net, back to Miller. He takes a look and shoots it. Didn't get past Turcotte. Taken by Manson. And he then failed to get it out. Chelios at the near point. Sends it across to Miller. Hit Miller on the far side. Threw it back into the near corner. Suter rings it around the boards. Miller has it once again. Far corner to Murphy. Joe Murphy put it back to Chelios at the line. Beating Suter with a long shot. Happy Bullen the save. Rebound Miller. And Happy Bullen stopped him. Now Miller digs it loose to the corner. Tried to center one. Roenick a shot. He scores! Jeremy Roenick, after the pass deflected, he still managed to corral it and pump it by on the short side. And the Hawks again on the power play cash in. It's 3-2 Chicago.
Nice little misdirection play by Miller, going away from the net on his forehand, slipped it back across into Roenick, and Roenick was able to pump it by him. It hit the skate of Manson and went to Roenick. Happy Bullen got a lot of it, but not enough of it. It had enough steam to go in. It didn't reach the back of the net, but enough to cross the line. As Happy Bullen recovered nicely, but Roenick gets the power play goal. And it's a 3-2 Blackhawk lead. The goal coming with just 13.6 seconds left.
Kip Miller will pick up his first point as a Chicago Blackhawk on Jeremy Roenick's 9th goal of the year at 1946. Here's the draw. Taken by the Jets Malguna. Got it to the Hawk line. Now Zhamnov. And a drop pass that is picked off, and that'll take care of the second period. The Chicago Blackhawks, after getting off to a sluggish start, again come up with a big second period and have grabbed the lead. The second period scoring opened up when Joe Murphy got his 6th of the year, assisted by Savard and Grieve on a 2-on-1 break at 10:02. And the Hawks got a couple of power play opportunities on which they made good. Daze rifled in his 9th of the season, assisted by Chelios and Suter at 13:23, and then Roenick a moment ago with his 9th of the season, assisted by Miller and Suter at 19:46. So again, the Blackhawk power play coming through in a big way, helping the Hawks to 18 shots on goal in period 2, while Winnipeg had 9, and after 2 periods, 30 shots for Chicago, 19 shots for Winnipeg. At the end. To 19 so far in the game, and at one point the Jets had an 8-1 shooting advantage to start things off. So here we go with the third as the draw is cleared into the Blackhawk zone. Turcotte on the near side to the corner. Weinrich took him off the puck. Now Ronan tried to center, tip just wide, and corralled by the Hawks. Ronan cleared it to center, and Murphy up the left side, gets over the line, offside is the call.
We've not gotten a report on Keith Kachuk.
Chicago's third goal scored by number 27, Jeremy Roenick, assisted by number 14, Kip Miller, and number 17, Joe Murphy, number 1946.
So they're changing the second assist on the Roenick power play goal at 1946 from Suter to Murphy. So Miller and Murphy get the assists on the Roenick goal.
Well, that makes it a goal and an assist for Murph so far in this game. And now Murphy to the Jet line with a long shot that goes wide. Rebounding to Roenick, a drive, and he missed the target with that. Brent Sutter in the far corner. Tipped it in behind the net. Roenick bounced it loose, and now they're going to be a 2-on-1 for the Jets. Just zooming and feeds Ronan over the line. Ronan cutting toward the net. Shooting Belfour on the short side made the stop. Now Ronan centered it zone. He's knocked off the play by Murphy, and Sutter takes it away. Hawks looking to counter. Sutter will send it in as this unit's out of gas and heads off for a change. Now Ronan is back into the Blackhawk zone. Tony Amante on the near board, able to flip it back into the Jet zone. Darren Quint will touch up for an icing call against Chicago.
Jets are 1-6 when trailing after 2, and the Blackhawks are 6-1-1 when leading after 2. They did have a 3-2 lead in their last game against Edmonton at home. They got the tie in that one. 2-1 in their last 3. Hawks looking to go 2 games over 500 on the road this year.
Face off to the right of Ed Belfour. And the draw lays there. Nobody can find the handle. Finally, Solani does. Teemu Solani then bumped by Suter. It rolled over to the far side where Kriva Krasov. There's a trickle at the center ice. And Solani dropping into his own end for Manson. Dave Manson goes rink wide to Jamnok. He steps into the Hog zone. Jamnok to the slot centered. Is deflected away from Solani. Then is wrapped up by Chelios behind the Hawk net. Dug loose by Korolev. Chelios took it off his stick. And then Amani was unable to clear it. Chance does as it winds up back in the Jet zone. David Manson got it to center. Dennis Savard. Weaves to the line. His pass deflecting, however, and it's corralled by the Jet. Shannon put it over the line to Drake on the far board. Dallas Drake centered. A little too far for Eastwood. On the near side, Daze wrestling but failed to clear it. Goes over to the far corner and Eastwood. His pass stolen nicely by Grieve, who outlets to Daze. Eric Daze into the Jet zone against Malgunas to the corner. Malgunas stopped him there. They wrestle forward along the boards. Nobody can find the handle. Finally, the Jets do, and Eastwood tried to clear, and it did trickle to center ice. Now it's field by Savard moving and fires. Happy Bull the same rebound, and Grieve unable to corral it as he went falling over top of the netminder. And the Jets try to start back, but Savard broke up the rush beautifully. And now the Hawks complete a player change as the Jets start back. Aaron Shannon puts it into the Blackhawks zone. Taken by Roenick. Roenick bounced one to the line. Chris King with a big collision trying to hold it in, but it rolled away from him to center. And now Newman moves it back into the Hawk zone. Then icing will be called against the home team. It's early in the third period. The Blackhawks own a 3-2 lead on the Hawk Network.
And now, the starting lineup for your Chicago groceries. At Milk, coming from Wisconsin.
Dennis Savard, Daze, and Grieve have had a terrific night. Grieve forces the turnover. Savard lets it go. Grieve tries desperately to get to the rebound and just failed to reach it on the back end. Psychedelic mask by Javi Bulin. Trying to figure out what it is. Russian comet or something. It's like it fell in a paint can.
It's like a Grateful Dead type of mask. Man.
Rui.
All right. Face off to the right of a Jet goal, and the draw is controlled by Chris King. Winnipeg captain shoots it in. Turcotte stole it from Belfour, then Smith managed to recover and get it to Roenick. Looking for Probert. Probert took a bump, couldn't get it out. Now a long shot deflecting. Winds up back behind the Hawks net zone. Centered one. Oh, and he just missed Turcotte, who was alone in front. The pass a little behind him. Now cleared into the Jet zone. Murphy chasing it down. Stops to the near side. Put it to the trailing Smith. Moving right in. Center, but they score! He wanted it tipped the whole way, and he got it. And Bob Probert creating some problems in front of the net. Redirected it. And Proby makes it a 4-2 Hawk lead.
Probert made the outlet pass across the near side from inside his blue line. Hawks were able to carry it in, and Steve Smith was wide open. Joe Murphy stops. Newman goes to him, but no one goes to Steve Smith. The forward not anywhere near it, and he faked it, and he put it to Probert. Probert stayed in position. They were unable to move him from in front of the net, and Smith the whole time was looking for a possible deflection, and he got it. And the Hawks jump out in front by 2 goals. Goal coming at 4:18. So Murphy and Smith will get the assist. That's the third point of the night for Murphy.
Probert notching his second goal of the season from Smith and Murphy at 4:18. And now 4 unanswered goals for the Blackhawks. It's falling behind 2-0. Here's the draw taken by young Darren Quinn. There it is for Solani, who's unable to receive it. It slides to length and icing coming up here against the Jets. Boy, I'll tell you, partner, we touched on it, but what a difference in this Winnipeg team without Keith Tkachuk. He was just a magnificent force for them in the first period. And since leaving with some sort of problem, we've not gotten a report yet, but he's taken, I think he took one shift late in the second period, and that's been it. I don't see him on the Winnipeg bench.
He's not been on the ice. He's been on the ice once. It's the 5-minute mark of the second period. I don't even see him on the bench now. He had a groin problem because he missed training camp and tried to do too much too soon when he signed that big contract. We don't have any information as yet. As soon as we get it, we'll pass it on to you.
Now Jeff Chan steals one over the line to Kriva. Krasov left it for Amani centering. He had chance in the slot, but the pass deflected. And Solani cleared it to Korolev. Igor Korolev flips it into the Blackhawk zone. Gary Studer up the board to Kriva Krasov. Now Savard. He races over the jet line and then chips it in behind the goal as the Hawks need to complete a player change. Now Savard into the Winnipeg zone. Stopped by Daryl Shannon and then brother Darren. Unable to advance it at center. Here's Malgunas in his own end. Got it to Shannon, clearing it ahead. A bouncy puck. Eastwood is in. Mike Eastwood, a shot. He shot it wide. He did a wonderful job receiving a pass in midair. And he tried to pull it to the backhand. He missed the net. And now it's center ice. Numanen got it to Dallas Drake into the Hog zone. Drake with a shot that hit Ulanov. And Savard chipped it to the Winnipeg end. Mike Eastwood. Darren Shannon flipping it in. Igor Ulanov going around the boards. Finley keeps it in there. Put it back of the Hog goal. Dallas Drake has it there, taking a look. Drake put it to Shannon on the far side. Ulanov knocked him off the puck. It squirts loose to Roenick. And Jeremy Roenick sends it at Murphy racing, trying to catch up with it. Happy Bullen diving out of the net. Poked it away from Murphy. He was about 25 or 30 feet out of the net when he did it. But prevented a scoring chance. Now the Jets move in. Doan, a shot and a save by Belfour. And he holds on.
Happy Bullen coming well out of the net. Jeremy Roenick had no passing lane, so he banks it off the boards behind Murphy, allowing Murphy to try and catch up to it. Happy Bullen just dove headlong and prevented another quality chance for Joe Murphy, but a heads-up pass from Jeremy Roenick. He looked to give it to him right on the take, but man was in the passing lane. He put it off the boards behind him. Goal and 2 assists for Joe Murphy.
Off to the left of Ed Belfour with 7 minutes gone in the third. 4-2 in favor of the Hawks. The draw is taken by Weinrich. Able to clear it to center ice. Now Kriva Krasov on the left wing board. Carries it over the jet line. Krivo spins on the far side. Rolled it in behind to Chance. Chance takes a look centered. It's deflected before it got to Amani. And Manson comes away for Winnipeg. And Kriva Krasov got away with a slash in the back of the leg with Doan. The right arm of Dvorsky started into the air. He saw it, but decided not to call it. Now they wrestle deep in the Hog zone. Doan rolled it loose behind the net. King is there. Chris King with a wrapper on it, roll off the end of a stick, and now a Hawk penalty will be called. As the Hawks control, the whistle sounds, and Eric Weinrich can't believe it, but he's going to be sent off. With 12:15 remaining in the third period, the Jets to the power play, trailing the Blackhawks 4-2 on the Chicago Blackhawk Network.
Don't you just love hockey? What's not to love? You get the wicked slap shots, the bone-jarring hits, the phenomenal saves. And don't forget the ice. Bud Ice and 96-calorie Bud Ice.
Puck in the corner behind the net. Passed it out front, and Eric Weinrich and Doan were in a bit of a battle in front, but it's Weinrich that gets sent off for interfering. At 7:45 in Winnipeg will get its 5th power play of the night. The Hawks are 2 for 5. Winnipeg scored on its first power play. They've been held off the last 3. The first power play goal they scored was their first goal in 5 games on the power play.
Now the draw to Newman on the near side. He scooped it into the corner. Chelios is there and clears it back to center ice. Jamnoff. Cleared around the boards. Newman had missed it. It went to Sutter, who shoots. Bobby Bullen makes the pad save. And Shane Doan motors up the right wing boards. Gets to the Hawk line. Mishandled it there. Belfour got it to a wide open Chelios. He sends it back the other way. And now a whistle stopping the play.
What's it for? A high stick?
Looks like it is a high stick being ruled.
Solani just crying with Dvorsky about the no call on Suter. It falls upon deaf ears. Now Chelios and Suter over there yakking at him.
Meanwhile, Dale, we have gotten some information on Keith Tkachuk. They say it's a bruised thumb. He received a slash, and he has a thumb problem. They think right now it's only bruised, but obviously they'll probably be doing some x-rays if they haven't already. See if there's any more serious damage, but it doesn't appear that we'll see any more of Keith Tkachuk in this game. Which does not bode well for the Winnipeg Hopes. Here's the draw. Dropped unfairly in the Jet zone.
Tough luck for Winnipeg because he was having a tremendous game. He had a goal and an assist in the first period. Also had a breakaway while shorthanded.
And now the draw taken by Teppo Numanen. Gave it to Jamnoff. Weaves over the Chicago line. Dropped it for Solani. Deep slot to Numanen. Touch pass over to the far side. Korolev. Igor Korolev. It's help from Newman with a long flip shot sailing wide. Rebound to the near board in Jamnoff. Bounce one to the corner. Chelios is there. Clears it down all the way. 45 seconds left on the Hawk penalty. Here's a lead for Solani. Trying to move in there. He stopped. Couldn't get rid of the shot as Carney hustled on a player change to get to him and prevent a shooting opportunity. And the puck cleared to center. Aaron Shannon trying to get away from Sutter. Not this time. It's cleared back into the Jet zone. Taken by Jamnoff. He rolled it to Korolev, who hammers it in. Loose to the near side. Sutter battling for it along the boards. It squirts free to Manson at the line. Threw it across to Jamnoff. Scooped it in behind the Hawk net. Shannon tied up by Smith. Smith is trying to freeze it, but it's jammed away from him. At the near point, Manson long wrist shot, and a save by Belfour. I think Shannon got a piece of that and tipped it, and the Eagle made a strong stop. Now a little pushing and shoving around the Hawk goal. This is the Hawk penalty expires. Now Manson from behind comes in and knocks Steve Smith down. And the officials, it appears, to be able to keep the peace for the moment.
Dave Manson is definitely going to get a penalty. Will it be a power play or will it be offset? This coming after Belfour made a terrific save. That puck seemed to bounce towards him, and there were a lot of people in front. It seems that Winnipeg tonight want to create as much traffic as possible. As the penalty expired, Manson let it go. It hit the stick of Roenick and deflected right into the midsection. Steve Smith had his glove up. Carney is there. Solani is there. And then Manson comes from behind and just flattens Steve Smith. So it looks like they'll be offsetting minor penalties to Dave Manson and Steve Smith. And with those 2 minutes, Dave Manson now has 2,000 career minutes in penalties.
And Winnipeg's number 4, Dave Manson.
1,100 of those came as a Blackhawk.
The Blackhawks, Smith, against Manson.
Going to be 4 skaters aside the first time tonight. We've reached the halfway point of the third period, 4-2 in favor of the Blackhawks. Face-off coming just outside the Chicago line. And now the draw taken by the Jets. Stewart Malgunas, or I should say Finley. Yeah, Finley in his own end, put it around the boards, and Dallas Drake got it to Numanen. Seppo Numanen able to feed Drake, crossing the Hawk line, weaves to the far side, then threw it back to the near boards. Savard will get to it, sending it to the Jet line.
Ooh, close call. I thought Murphy was going to get whistled off there for a hook.
Jets. Numanen gets it into the Chicago zone. Suter played the body all the way, but Turcotte hustled to get the loose puck. Darren Turcotte, top of the ring, moves in, shoots, he scores! And Chelios inadvertently screened Belfour, who never saw it. And the Jets have gone back to within one, trailing 4-3.
A little confusion in the hot zone, a collision in the corner between Suter and the Winnipeg player Numanen, as well as Savard, and he was late to get back to Turcotte. Turcotte was able to get it. Then a bit of a collision. Good pick by Numanen. And that enabled Turcotte to get that extra time fake and snap the wrist shot just inside the near post. Might have gone in off the post. And also there were players in front of Belfour. He never saw it. It's a 4-3 game with 9:27 remaining. So Winnipeg replies after 4 unanswered goals by the Blackhawks.
Draw taken by the Jets. Clinch. Gets it into his own end, and now Solani circles with it. He moves Solani. Got it to Shannon over the line. Daryl Shannon puts it into the near corner. And now Hawks able to clear it to center ice. Here's a steal by Shan from Monty in the far corner. And then he had it knocked off his stick back into the neutral area. Eric Weinrich over the line to Amani. To the backhand move back to the forehand, but with only one hand on his stick, unable to corral it and trigger a shot. The Jet Solani back to center, looking for Shamnoff over the line. Shamnoff flash to the ice, a penalty. Coming up here against Roenick. And the Jets will go to the power play. 8.5 remaining in the third period. 4-3 Chicago on the Hawk Network.
Where do you stand on tonight's Hawks Online topic? Email us at
a bad penalty taken by Jeremy Roenick. A slash on the right arm. And Zamnoff goes down like a laborer's overalls at quitting time. Tell you what, they're just like those World Cup soccer players. As soon as they get a little nudge, they go down like they're shot. But a bad penalty taken by Roenick. The shoulder slash, and the Jets now with a 1-goal deficit, trying to tie it up with their 6th power play. The second of the period.
It's a 4-on-3 power play for the next 20 seconds. Face off just inside the Hawk line. And the draw to the Jet Shamnoff. Put it into the far corner. Now Shamnoff has it again along the board. Shamnoff. The Top of the ring, put it to Newman, and here's the long shot. Built for the save, and the rebound cleared. Back the other way. Now the coincidentals are over, and it's a 5-on-4 Winnipeg power play. Newman throws it in. Chelios bounced it loose in behind the net. Now Turcotte got to it. Darren Turcotte had it roll off the end of his stick to Brent Sutter, and he backhands it ahead. Chance is hustling, and Howie Rowland makes a good read to come out of the net and clear it himself to center ice. Now Newman able to clear it to the far side, and Korolev looking for Newman, who scoops it in deep. Weinrich chasing it down. Couldn't get it past Korolev on the far board. Out to the line, Newman, and a one-timer is blocked by Savard, and it caroms out to center ice. Now Shamnov retreating in his own end. Cleared it around the boards, and Shannon shot into an open wing. Saunders stolen, cuts over the line, fires, hits the side of the net. Raised the outside of the near post. The Jets a little lethargic on this last little sequence, but Manson looking to change that. Comes motoring over the Hawk line, takes the shot, and now sends it around the board. Dave Smith jammed it loose to the far side. Korolev lost the handle, but Quinn held it in. Centered one, Solani put it in front, and a diving play by Weinrich broke up the feed. Now Manson, a shot hits the goalpost, I think, and then Belfort juggling, able to come down with it and take a whistle.
Just as the penalty expired, Belfort falling down, somehow lost his balance, kicked up, made the save. The puck looked like it might go up and over him, but he was able to get the glove on it. And it's Savard who just blocked that shot. And now limps off to the Blackhawk locker room. Well, the Hawks dodge a big bullet with 6:30 left here. A dangerous power play goes for naught. The Hawks cling to a 4-3 lead. 33-25 shot edge in favor of the Blackhawks. 6-3 for Winnipeg in this third period. 6.5 to go in period 3.
Face off to the right of Ed Belfour. And the draw. Came loose to the line, and Malgunas unable to keep it in. Now the Jets move back in offside.
Friday night on Sports Channel, it's the Schoolyard Jam at 6:30. Friday night, check out Schoolyard Jam. Join Amy Stone and Brandon Thompson, plus other high school reporters for this month's show. We'll jam with Phil Jackson, Simeon Rice, and Kendall Gill. Plus, we'll hook you up with online trivia, bring you the plays of the month, and much, much more. Friday night at 6:30, Schoolyard Jam, right before the Bulls game, right here on Sports Channel.
Now the draw, and then behind the Blackhawk net, Chris Chelios bounced it to the center ice area. Up deep in the Winnipeg zone, chased down by Stuart Malgunas. To the far side where Dallas Drake needs a little help, gets it from Darren Shannon. And now to center Eastwood, shoots it in. Keith Carney up the left side for Bob Probert. Winds up in a collision with King. King won the puck, cleared it, and Murphy with good coverage on his point man deflects the pass back to center ice. Chris King lost it at the Hawk line. Now Turcotte steps in there, and his pass hits the skate. Jets finally dump it in. Chelios back for it. Moved it to Keith Carney. He chips it to neutral zone, and we're down to 5 minutes remaining in regulation time. 4-3 in favor of the Hawks. As Newman starts out of his own zone. That's how Newman shoots it in there. There Eric Weinrich shifts it up the board. Doan couldn't find it. Daze does. Eric Daze on right wing in over the jet line. Stops to the near side. Flipped it into the corner stand. Kicked it loose behind the net. Grieve has it. And leaves it there. And Manson wrestling along the end board. And Chan fought off a hit from Doan. A couple of folks around the deck and on the puck, and the whistle sounds. Now Chris King and Dave Smith exchanging shoves right in front of the Jet bench. Looked like they were going to have a go. But the officials very quickly and alertly get in there. And we'll take a break. 4.5 left in the third. 4-3 Hawks on the Hawk Network.
4:27 remaining here in the third period. Be a great 4.5 minutes. Turcotte has cut the lead to 4-3 in this sixth and 10:33 after Probert gave the Blackhawks a 2-goal cushion in 4:18 of the third period.
Here's the draw taken by Suter. Lifted in behind the goal. Manson there. And it's stripped away by Krasov. He walks to the slot. Shoot! Hit blocked by Manson. Karam's in behind the net. Now Amani on the far board. Loose to Shant, moving into the slot, shooting, and it's saved by Javi Bulin. Rebound taken by the Jets' Quint. Now Korolev for Winnipeg. Moved it to center. Manson tipped it to Jamnoff over the line. Jamnoff weaving to the slot. Gets help from Manson, moves in and fires. Belfour makes the save and gives no rebound. Ed Belfour looking to improve his record against the Jets of 10-6-2 in his career.
Manson with a shot that Belfour saw the way. He goes to the knees and cradles it in the body. Hit the Bears stand with Sports Radio 1000 WMVP Sunday at noon. The Bears play host to the Detroit Lions. So beginning at 9, join MVPs Tom Waddle and Jim Cosmore as they bring you complete pregame coverage, including up-to-the-minute reports from the field, both locker rooms, injury and traffic reports, and more only on Sports Radio 1000 WMVP Chicago Sports Leader.
Face off to the right of Ed Belfour. And the draw. Brent Sutter cleared it around the board. Roenick put it to the near side. Murphy tied up, but it rolled free to center. Might have a 2-on-1. Brent Sutter over the line with Roenick. Sutter cuts in for Roenick. Shoots. He scores! Jeremy Roenick, his second goal of the game on a nice feed from Brent Sutter. And the Hawks with a quick breakout make it a 5-3 game.
Brent Sutter has really played solid hockey here the last couple of weeks. And Jeremy Roenick is just unbelievable at that one-timer from long range. That puck was not exactly in a perfect spot, but good work off the boards. Good read by Brent Sutter. And then the pass and the quick one. That puck was a little ahead of him. And he did a great job of getting that shot away and getting something on it. And Roenick, second of the game, 10th of the year, after a nice feed from Brent Sutter. Great work in the Blackhawks zone to bank it off the boards. A good read by Brent Sutter. Excellent pass and a better shot. And it's a 5-3 Blackhawk lead.
Roenick from Sutter at 16:25. And now the breathing room once again for the Hawks at 5-3. As Finley for Winnipeg. It's help from Drake at center. Alice Drake carries it over the Hawk line. Trying to beat Steve Smith, but he got turned around in the play, and now Weinrich control. Moved it up the left side. Grieve gets into the Jet zone, dropped it for Savard, moving to the net, shooting, and it's saved by Javi Bulin. Rebound to Newman. Pushing it back to the Hawk line. 3 minutes remaining in the third period. 5-3 Chicago. Aaron Turcotte moves it to Shane Doan over the line. Doan with a shot. He scores! First career goal for Shane Doan. A wrist shot just inside the near post. The Jets cut the Hawks lead to 5-4.
Great thrill for the youngster getting his first ever. It's been a struggle. Takes a little while to make the adjustment from junior hockey to the NHL. But a nice play, a good goal. We'll always remember that one against Chelios and Suter. And he's still able to get gets a shot away. Misdirection went right, shot back to his left. And Belfour leaning left and shot back. And the youngster, first pick of the Jets, MVP in the Memorial Cup with Kamloops. Good-looking young winger, size and skill, gets his first goal. Looks like he shaves yet.
Oh, it's a 5-4 Hawk lead now. He dumped into the Chicago zone. Chelios wrapped up in the corner. It's centered, but deflected to Daze. He's got it back into the Jet zone. Turcotte and Manson with the assist on Doan's goal at 17-20. The puck bouncing around at the Jet line. Corralled by Darren Quint. Here to Solani into the Hawk zone. Team Solani moves wide and shoots, and he shot it wide. Now Amani gathers it in. Tony Amani ahead for Chan. Carries into the Jet zone, looking to center Amani, and he had his stick tied up by Shamrock as he moved up the middle of the ice. Now Amani far corner centered it. Abby Bullen blocked the pass, and the Jets start back. Finley carries it to the Hawk line, moved into the corner. Gary Suter gets help from Kriva Krasov. Cleared it to the left side. Suter unable to corral it, but Krivo does, and got it to the Jet line. A minute and a half remaining in regulation time. Hawks lead by a goal as the Jets dump it in. Fred Sutter deep in his own zone. Put it around the board. Now the Jets hold it in. Then a couple Winnipeg Jets collide, and the puck squirts loose to the near side. Solani tried to center. It deflects back to the neutral zone. Solani right back over the Hawk line. Sweeps it in behind the net. They battle deep in the Hawk zone. We're into the final minute now. As Roenick able to get away from Solani. Cleared it to Brent Sutter. He moved it to center ice in Murphy. Oh, Murphy to Chris Chelios. He throws it in there deep. 40 seconds remaining. Darren Quint trying to start back. Got it to Manson. He rolled it to Jamnoff. There goes Javi Bullen. Jamnoff over the line. Fires right on. Belfour fought it off. And was going to play it, but now decides to take a whistle.
Still a lot of action left with 28 seconds remaining. Belfour fought it off and wanted to give it to Steve Smith and then tried to push it to him and got the glove on it. Robert made it 4-2. Turcotte made it 4-3. Roenick made it 5-3. And Doan with his first ever NHL goal. And that's where we stand at 5-4. Kachuk, Solani, Turcotte and Doan for Winnipeg. Murphy, Daze, Roenick with a pair. And Probert the other.
Again, the Hawks with two more home games before a long road trip. The Rangers have been on Thursday, their only United Center appearance of the year, followed by the San Jose Sharks on Sunday evening. Good seats available at 559-1212 and radio only for both those games with 7 o'clock pregame shows. We'll be with you next on television when the Hawks start that 6-game road trip in Denver against the Colorado Avalanche. They'll be on Sports Channel Plus with an 8 o'clock face-off time. Regular Sports Channel will be joining that one when the Bulls game is finished that night. Greg Hartsburg with an agonizing 28 seconds left before the Hawks can salt this one away. A 5-4 Chicago lead. The Jet goal is empty. 6 attackers on for the home team. Face-off will be to the left of Belfour. Looking to extend his brilliant road record, currently standing at 4-1 away from home. Another half a minute, though, before that could be declared. It'll be Sutter and Eastwood to the left of the Hawk net for the draw. Now ready. And the draw. Winds up in the corner. Korolev gets help. Eastwood center deflected just behind Turcotte and Chan. Put it back into the Jet zone. Put a little too much on it. It's going to slide the length. Icing with 16.7 remaining.
Well, Chance was in good position. The Hawks didn't run around after they battled to win the draw. Smith was tied up. He kicked at it and scored it out. The pass was intended for either Zamnoff or Solani in the slot. Chance was in a difficult position. His back to the guy behind him and wasn't quite sure what to do with it. He goes off the boards. Kills off more time, but he made the safe play and got too much of it.
So again, they'll get ready to the left of Ed Belfour. Eastwood and Sutter again. Now they square him up, and Eastwood got this drawn, and Newman and beat Solani. Drive, he scores! Teemu Solani with a one-timer from about 40 feet. Blew it into the net just by the blocker of Belfour. With 14 seconds to go, the Jets have tied it at 5.
Face-off win was the key, and then the design play. How important was that icing call, Pat? That would have been the game if Chance was able to clear it off the boards, but no, the face-off win by Eastwood. The fake shot, everybody went and key to the point, and Solani just the one-timer design play. He was lined up at the hash marks. He backed off, and you couldn't design it any better than that. A wicked shot to tie it up, and it looks like we're going overtime.
Second goal of the game for Teemu Solani, who now has 8 for the year. And the Winnipeg Jets come from a 2-goal deficit to tie the Hawks in the last 3.5 minutes of the game, of the third period anyway. Here's the draw clear to the Hawk zone, and we're going to extra time at the end of 60 minutes of play. Chicago 5, Winnipeg 5. Back in a moment on the Blackhawk Network. Will go to overtime. The Hawks had a 4-2 lead, or 3-2 lead coming into the third. Bob Probert with his third of the year, making it a 4-2 Hawk lead. Darren Turcotte cut into it for Winnipeg at 10:33. Then Jeremy Roenick notched his second of the game, 10th of the year at 16:25. Hawks look to be in great shape with 3.5 left, but no, Doan and Solani score in the final couple of minutes. The last goal with 14 seconds remaining, and that's why we're into overtime. Here's the draw, controlled by the Hawks, and Eric Weinrich shoots one in there. Cleared to the near side, Chris King, tied up by Murphy, and squirts loose behind the net. Roenick chasing it down. Jeremy Roenick knocked down by Newman, and the Jets start back. Turcotte flipped it ahead, bouncing puck, Doan cutting in, he shoots, he scores! The Jets win! Rookie Shane Doan, with his first 2 career goals, has helped the Jets come from behind, catch, and then beat the Chicago Blackhawks. At the 39-second mark of overtime, Doan wins it 6-5 for Winnipeg.
Well, that's a tough one. You've got a 2-goal lead with 2:40 left to go in the game, and you lose in overtime, 39 seconds into overtime. Great move by the youngster to get his second ever NHL goal, and it proves to be the game winner. A devastating loss. This is the one they had locked up, trailed 2-0 at a 5-2 lead with 2:40 to go. Doan makes it 5-4. Solani ties it up with just under 15 seconds, and in the first minute of overtime, Winnipeg wins at 6-5.
Radio only when the Hawks play the New York Rangers on Thursday night in the U Center. We'll open it up with a 7 o'clock pregame show. Tonight, Winnipeg with 2 late goals in the third, then get the winner early in overtime from Shane Doan. 6-5. The Jets are winners tonight.
So you're saying you don't think the mummy was stolen?
I'm telling you, the case was open from the inside.
And you found this note?
Yes, but what does it mean?
Southwest introduces Got-to-Go fares starting at $19 on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. They've got everybody getting up and going, but nothing's forever. So look alive. Southwest, the low-fare airline. Ace Ventura is in Africa.
Alrighty then.
And Africa will never be the same.
Say uncle!
Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls.
Do I have something in my teeth?
Rated PG-13. Now playing at a theater near you.
Drops it in and the game is underway.
Great game, huh? Oh, yeah, but listen, I can't talk to you, okay, because I don't want to miss anything. Or did you hand me my soda, please? Yeah.
It's the weapon to the ground for another great souvenir.
That was my puck. That was my puck.
Cool game, huh?
Yeah, the coolest game on earth. No. No. Did you plan this?
I got a passion.
626. Total luxury. Priced like a base Altima. Best warranty in its class. 626. Lease one now. $229 a month. 626.
No one leaves till we solve this one.
Return the page. Return the page. Return the page.
In overtime, 6-5, as the Hawks are unable to hold a 2-goal lead, which they gained with only 3.5 minutes remaining in regulation time. That should not be enough time for anybody to come back against a team that wants to take pride in its defense, but it they didn't get the job done tonight.
Well, they have not done the job when they've had the lead on numerous occasions this year, and that was a tough one. You're up by 2 goals with 2:40 to go in the third, and you end up losing in overtime. There's no excuse for it. A couple of poor face-offs, and you can't have that happen when you're that close in the division race.
Well, the Bud Ice player of the game, the Blackhawks did get a fine outing from Joe Murphy in this one.
Joe Murphy had a goal and 2 assists. There were a lot of strong candidates. I thought Eric Daze was outstanding. He did score a goal. Jeremy Roenick had another strong performance with a couple of goals, but all squandered for naught. A tough loss at the hands of the Jets. I think they thought it was over when they scored that 5th goal, but that's not the case. You got to play solid 60, and they have not played 60 minutes. They did not play well the first 10, and did not play well the last 3 or 4, and a tough loss.
And one other piece of business to bring your way, our Southwest Airlines save of the game. Ed Belfour provided it in the first period.
It was a brilliant save. It was 1-0, and Keith Kachuk, who was a star, who was dominant in the first period, did not play after the 5-minute mark of the second period because of a bad hand, but Ed Belfour kept it a 1-0 game at that time, and that was a shorthanded chance for Keith Kachuk, who was brilliant for 25 minutes. Then when he left the game, all the momentum turned in favor of the Blackhawks. They were dominant in the second period and for most of the third period, but the winning goal by the youngster, he scores his first goal to make it 5-4, his first goal of his NHL career. Through Chelios and through Suter, he outfought them to get the goal, and then in overtime after Salami tied it up, a brilliant effort to score the winner. Turcotte flipped the puck to him. Steve Smith tried to swat the puck, missed it, and that enabled Doan to shield the puck beautifully with his body, then pull it to the backhand. Great composure shown by the youngster to get the winning goal, and the elation shown. Not only his first goal, but his second career goal, and it proves to be a big one.
So that victory puts the Jets a game over 500. That's the same place the Hawks are after this overtime loss to the Winnipeg Jets. Once again, your final score in overtime.